It's time for Don and Ron. You won't get this anywhere else.
Howdy folks, welcome to another edition of Don
and Ron.
And Ron's playing the string bass today, and then a lot of people think that that's just a bow for going hunting, but it's not. Today we're talking about your wingtip bow for your wings. Selecting the wood is very, very important. In the last video we kind of talked about, we were going to look at these wingtip bows. Wingtip bows is what makes the look of the wing. You can do a lot of things wrong, but the wingtip bow is not one of them. The wingtip bow is very, very important for really the longevity of the wing as far as its looks. And we want to kind of show you when you go to selecting your grade of wood. This particular bow is one that really looks good, and it looked good to start with when it was packaged in the box. But Michael, if you come a little bit closer, we're going to show you one of the key things you do not want to have is a knot. If you look right here, what we have is a knot in the wood right here. It's very important that we have nice straight grains, layers, but you can see the deformity in the wood grain itself. You can even see how it's got a little kink in it right there. And we're going to place it up against this finished wingtip bow so you kind of see what we're talking about. So let's do that real quick for them, Ron, kind of give them an idea. So it's really, really, really important.
Got another knot here too.
Yep, there's another one there. So this particular piece, if you look at it, is really not a good selection. You can even see on the back side, Michael, right here, there's actually a knot and it's deformed. And what's going to wind up happening is if you were to use this particular bow, is eventually that knot can deform and get worse over time. And so you would have a hump and you'd have an arc in your wingtip itself. So selecting a good piece of wood is very, very important. Like this piece, like I say, you definitely don't want to use. Well, when you buy the wingtip bows, there's some people that will buy straight pieces and they will heat them up and then they'll form them themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I prefer to buy the ones that are already bent and pretty close in shape. And we'll usually buy, 5 or 6 sets at a time, and then we'll put them on the shelf and we'll put strings between them and kind of keep that arc so that when we're ready for them, they're already basically preformed. But I'm going to kind of turn things over to Ron. Ron's going to kind of give you some hints and tips right here as far as working with them. And you can even look right here how we've had to shim this one a little bit to get the proper distance from the outer wingtip rib. And so it's important, like I say, that you get that arc right. So Ron, let them have it, man.
Well, one of the things that has come along and everybody has got to see is a doubling up, basically doing bicycle spokes on the outside right here to keep the bow from warping and getting the little wavy look in here. So we add an extra one to it, which gives it kind of a bicycle spoke effect, keeping it from warping. Now when we start on the bow, making sure that your ribs are nice and straight is the best thing to do. Starting here, pulling it around and clamping it over there is usually what I like to do, and then get it centered up on the spar as best you can. Once you do that, then start clamping it down with your screws, moving around and make your way all the way to the back. And when you get to the back here, it starts getting a little hairy because it really wants to try to pull this rib around. So it's a good thing to have an extra person to help you keep it nice and straight. And we like to use a T-square and pull down the rib, keeping it nice and straight, and then we'll mark it, and then I'll take also a strap and then I'll pull it over as a third hand to help us. But we'll take our T-square and we'll pull it down and get it nice and true and square, and then we'll take and we'll mark it and we'll strap it, we'll pull it down. We may take it and put it back on 2 or 3 times before we finally make our decision, before we drill it and truly mount it. So it takes a little bit of effort to really make a beautiful looking project, but just like Michael knows, that's what it takes. That's what you do, because it's worth it. So
All right, so again, thanks for coming and seeing us again today here at Don and Ron. You kind of notice some of the other things that we do here too. Everybody has their different areas, but your countersunk screws, using stainless steel on that. And one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to over countersink it. You can always sand that down a little bit where it's not completely flush, but the further you drill that hole in there, you weaken the wood. I've seen too many people that have splintered bows because they've drilled it too far down, and you wind up having a problem. It gets worse as you get towards the trailing edge because, of course, the bow kind of narrows as it gets back there. So again, don't over countersink this hole, because what'll wind up happening is you can split this wood. So get it as close as you can, no more than that. And again, also over tightening. Over tightening will cause them to split as well too. So, you know, if you've ever done a wingtip bow and you split one, then you know what I'm talking about. So trying to prevent y'all from doing that. So anyway, this one's sticking up just a touch. I'll take a file and file it down, clean it up, and then we'll use a little bit of filler over top of it to fill that hole in, so that it's a nice flush finish over top of that screw head. So, because until the bow gets ready to come off, not got to worry about that screw anymore. So anyway, again, thanks for coming by, visiting with us. Do us a favor. You need you to subscribe. You need to like, and you need to share, and really more importantly, put comments on there for us so that we know what you like, what you don't like, and the things that you'd like to see. So again, thanks again for joining Don
And Ron.
We'll see y'all next time.